We're having a good old catch-up here. Welcome back to this morning.
I didn't even realise we're on telly.
Yeah, we're on the telly. We're on the telly. Now, you know, she became a household name as a member of the Spice Girls. But in recent years, Geri Halliwell-Horner has turned her hand to writing fiction and publishing 6 children's books.
And she is, as ever, still championing
girl
power in her latest book, Rosie Frost and the Falcon Queen. She's here to tell us more. I'm really excited to meet you properly. We met many, many years ago for about 3 minutes, so this is my first proper meeting. But I do feel like I probably don't have much to talk about because I think you're going to do it all.
No, not in the slightest.
I know what
We're in
you're
it
like
together.
with Geri.
I mean, me and Geri, we have got a little...
You are super-duper fan.
We are. I'm like the little brother.
Yeah, he's part of my family.
I'm part of the family now.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I made it, Mum.
So you hosted Geri's 50th birthday party?
I did.
Yeah, it is like This Is Your Life.
It was very fun.
He was amazing, and he went through all my life in front of everybody. It was brilliant. You were amazing.
It was a pleasure as well, obviously, because I love you and I love Christian, and it was just so nice to be there. And I knew you were working on this, and here it is.
Here it is.
Rosie Frost and the Falcon Queen. So for anyone who don't know who Rosie is, I just want to say she's quite fearless. She's ginger. Does she remind you of anyone?
Well...
He's always fishing, this one.
He's always fishing. You kind of, when you write, I sort of put myself into the characters, but then I sort of borrow other people. You take a bit of you in the others. You kind of use a little bit of life experience. You know, it's like being a chef.
Yeah.
Ingredients.
So who is she? What is she about?
I felt like the world needs a new hero. Someone ordinary, not perfect, someone that, you know, you could identify with, and maybe your older children, you know, around the 12, 13-year-old, and it's about finding the courage you never knew you had, and it's full of adventure, but if you like history and conservation, it's all in there.
I love that in a book, especially for kids' books or books that are aimed at younger people, that you get... It's not just a fantasy story.
No, it's this...
You get little bits of reality in there as well.
I've turned the volume up, basically, on real historical facts. If you know anything about Henry VIII, he had that wife... his wife executed Queen Anne Boleyn, OK? Really, if you look at it, he was basically a misogynistic pig. Right, and had...
Geri said it.
Yeah, he was.
He's not here to defend himself.
He's not here to defend himself, but that was not good behaviour. And Anne Boleyn was quite smart, and she believed in the National Health Service. And the people around him didn't like her, and so she got executed for whatever reasons. But just before she's executed... so she has a 3-year-old little girl, OK, and she makes a rule book with 4 rules in it. OK, so... And she gives this rule book to Queen Elizabeth, becomes the greatest monarch of her time. 500 years later, this rule book is given to Rosie Frost. And they've got these 4 rules, OK? If anyone feels bullied or wants to find their power in any situation, use these 4 rules, you find the courage you never knew you had. So, and it's kind of through this adventure story she uses them, but you could use it. If you felt bullied... Yeah. Do you know, in any situation in your life.
Do you know what's so lovely about this? Obviously, the book is fantastic, but seeing the way you talk about it is probably the greatest joy about it.
Oh, thank you.
Tell, you know, a lot of people, they'll put their name to a book and stuff. You can tell that you've done this.
Oh, my God.
Because the passion that is within you. And am I right in saying this took you, like, nearly a decade to do this book?
OK, it's probably 7 years.
It's one book?
Yeah, because you're writing the whole, like, the whole land that goes with it. And then I put a bit of myself into it because my father died when I was young. And if anybody out there has suffered from grief, and when I was young, I was almost embarrassed about it. You know, like us English, we sort of try and hide our tears. And so Rosie Frost, the opening chapter, she loses her mother. And she's pulled out of the classroom and told, your mother is dead. That happened to me. It was my father. I was in an English literature class and told, and I was so, like, uncomfortable.
You just remember it.
Yeah, but I used it in the story, because there's loads of stories where you get orphans, but this story is unairbrushed, is real, but then it's full of humour and adventure at the same time.
Yeah.
And they've got characters which I like. OK, so there's Charlie. The boys, you know, they're great guys, but the boys cry. The girls save the boys.
Yeah.
You know, they're the modern-day heroes.
Yeah.
I mean, some would call that girl power.
Yeah, potentially, yes. Nothing wrong in that.
But it really, really is. And like I said, you know, look, it's a great read, especially for the kids and things like that.
And you, actually,
but for the adult.
Have you read it yet?
I haven't read it. Oh,
My
I'm just
husband-
listening to the audiobook.
The audio.
Do you do the
Which was
audio
a
book?
trial.
Jerry, is it your voice? Do you
Yeah,
do
it took me 8 days to do it.
It's a long while.
It's a long while. And it's now, you can say, because I sound like a show-off otherwise.
No, I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it's #1 audio in the world.
Yay!
And so it should be.
But I think it was important to do audio because if people don't want to read, sometimes, you know, the audio is just...
Yeah. You can just have it on.
I do find as well, though, that
Keep you company.
when you're reading a book of somebody that you know so well, you want to hear that voice telling you the story.
Yeah, and I felt like it's a really nice way to connect. My music's in there. There's 2 songs on there as well.
I remember when you were doing them.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she's doing no music.
Yeah.
I love the book. We adore the book. Well done on the audiobook as well.
Thank you
That's
so
an amazing
much.
feat. It really, really is.
Yeah. Anyone, you've written a book.
I know, but listen...
You know, anyone that's done that.
This is about you, and you know full well I'm not going to let you get off of that sofa until you tell me that you and the girls are going to get back together for the 30th anniversary and headline Glastonbury. Just say it.
At some point, I think that's a really good idea.
Don't arm me off, Geri Halliwell-Horner.
I would never do that. I would never. Do you know what? The Spice Girls belongs to everyone, and I think you're absolutely right. It deserves to be celebrated.
So, yes?
At some point, I always like to be honest and straight. So when the time is right, you know, when that is, whatever day that is,
But
I'll tell you first.
You promise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you tell me second?
Yeah, I'll text you.
Yeah, you text me. I'll
say it's now.
We'll just do like Chinese whispers and just be like,
oh. You could come on, couldn't you, really?
Right, stop this now, because that's a verbal contract.
I tell you what, he'll never let you forget it.
Can I just tell you something, right? Do you remember when he was in the X Factor?
Yes.
Right. And you were practicing.
That's where we first met.
Yes, and you know, and I love it because you know they wanted to sort of make fun, didn't they, a little bit? And who's laughing now?
We're all laughing, babe.
Who's laughing now? I love that.
I do hope that there is some form of reunion with you girls soon because it is the most amazing night out.
Yeah.
I went to the last tour that you did.
Did you?
Absolutely loved it. It was
We
brilliant.
loved it.
Yeah, it's always lovely to be.
It's a joyous occasion.
I saw Emma the other day. She came to Christian's party.
I just love it. I love the fact
looked
that
like
you're
a
all still
right
so
night
close.
out.
That was like a super group.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Gary, if you're watching, oh my God, you know when you know someone, you know you've seen them. I've seen him perform, but to perform in front of a small crowd intimately, he was amazing. Can you imagine you got to perform in front of someone from the Rolling Stones?
It's a bit of
Rod
pressure.
Stewart. I mean, the pressure, and he's there gave him a little electric piano, and he was brilliant. I was like...
G, we adore you.
G.
I love her. Rosie Frost from the Falcon Queen. It's out now. Go and get this. It is so nice to see you.
Thank you. So nice to see you
We love
both.
you, Geri. We love you.
Gorgeous.